If the last days of July are weighing on you in a way you cannot name, if a fog of exhaustion seems to hang in the air, even when there is no apparent reason, and a part of you is simply ready for it all to be over, know that you are not alone. And more importantly, you are not imagining it. Allow me to ask a direct question. Do you feel that you have reached your limit? That your soul and your body are saturated like a sponge that can no longer absorb a single drop? This feeling, this saturation, is not a sign of weakness. On the contrary, it is a sign of fullness. Think of yourself for a moment, not as a machine that wears out, but as a sacred vessel, an alchemical vessel. Throughout this entire month of July, one of the most intense months of the year, every cosmic event, every unexpected challenge, every wave of deep emotion you have felt was a potent ingredient poured inside this inner vessel of yours. The crushing pressure of the Pluto opposition, the creative fire of the new moon in Leo, the divine whispers of the Mercury Cazimi, everything was added to your potion. And now, at this very moment, your vessel is overflowing. The potion is complete. That is why you feel this way. The weight you carry is not one of failure, but of an immense accumulated energy that has not yet been consecrated. The confusion you feel is not a lack of clarity. It is the bubbling power of an alchemy that is about to be finalized. That is why the last day of July is not a day to simply turn the page and hope that August will be better. It has been reserved for something infinitely more powerful. It is the day of the ritual, the day when we not only survive the intensity, but we transform it into permanent power. The energy of this Wednesday, the last breath of July, is not a void. It is a ceremonial invitation to perform the most crucial act of all, that of sealing your alchemical vessel. It is your opportunity to take the chaos, the beauty, the pain, and the joy of this month and transform them into an elixir of wisdom and strength that will nourish you not just in August, but for all the months to come. What you do on this day will define the foundation of your entire next cycle. To understand the importance of the ritual that awaits us, we must first make an honest diagnosis of our soul. We need to look with courage at the contents of our alchemical vessel without judgment, only with recognition. Let's start with your emotional state. What have you been feeling? A strange volatility? A feeling of swinging between a deep nostalgia for a past that will not return and an acute anxiety for a future that has not yet taken shape? If your patience with the little things in life is shorter, if emotions seem to surface without warning, a wave of sadness in the middle of a normal day, a fit of anger over something trivial, understand that this is not a setback on your healing path. It is the pressure of your vessel's contents demanding attention. It is the potion bubbling, showing that it is potent and ready. If you have felt disconnected from your own routine, as if you were just acting out a script that no longer makes sense, know that this disconnection is a symptom of a deep inner recalibration. Your soul is already preparing for a new way of life, and the dissonance you feel is simply the friction between who you were and who you are becoming. But alchemy is not just an ethereal or emotional process, it is physical. It manifests in your body, the sacred temple that holds the vessel. Have you noticed the pressure? An unusual sensation in your temples, in your chest, or in your shoulder blades? It is not common stress. It is your physical body adjusting to hold a new energetic frequency. It is matter expanding to honor the growth of the spirit. And your dreams, if your sleep has been a battlefield with vivid, fragmented dreams that seem to process old memories or explore alternative futures, Know that your subconscious is not in chaos. It is working at high speed, night after night, trying to catalog, archive, and make sense of every drop that was poured into your vessel this month. The fatigue you feel in the morning is not from a bad night's sleep, but from a night of intense spiritual work. You are not just sleeping, you are integrating universes. So what exactly were these ingredients? Where did this density, this full potency, that now overflows in the form of emotions and physical sensations, come from? This was not an ordinary month. First, the potion of raw truth was poured in. The powerful Pluto opposition acted as a universal solvent, dissolving illusions and forcing us to face the shadows we had swept under the rug. Power dynamics in relationships, inconvenient truths about our careers, family secrets, and above all, the truth about ourselves. All of this was brought to the surface. It was a dense, heavy ingredient that muddied the water, but it was absolutely necessary for the purification. Right after, while we were still processing that truth, came the elixir of the royal heart. The sun entered its home, the sign of Leo, and was followed by the new moon in the same sign. This poured in a vibrant energy of self-expression, of authentic creativity, and a burning desire to be seen and recognized for who you really are, not for what others expect of you. It was a call to your personal stage, to your sovereignty, a reminder that your light deserves to shine without apology. And as if that weren't enough, in the midst of it all, a drop of crystalline clarity was deposited directly into the center of your being. The Mercury Kazemi, the exact meeting between mind and spirit, planted a seed of genius in you, an idea, an epiphany, a perception that, even if it only lasted an instant, contained the code for your next great chapter. Do you understand now? Your vessel is not full of water. It is full of a complex and potent mixture of relentless truth, sovereign creative fire, and divine clarity. But such a potent potion, if not sealed correctly, can become a poison. And it is exactly the danger of a cracked vessel that we need to talk about now. That is why it is heavy. That is why it overflows. And that is exactly why simply ignoring this content and stumbling into August is not an option for those who seek a conscious life. The potion is ready. Now, it needs to be sealed. The last day of July presents itself before us, not as a simple date on the calendar, but as a ceremonial portal, a silent fork in the soul's path. At this exact point, two realities, two timelines for your month of August, separate, and the choice between them, whether made by consciousness or by omission, will determine the fundamental quality of your journey in the coming weeks. It is a sacred responsibility that presents itself only at the culmination of a cycle, a moment to claim your power as the architect of your own experience. The first path is the widest, the noisiest, the most traveled. It is the path of inertia, paved by the tyranny of routine and the denial of the need for sacred pauses. On this path, most people, hypnotized by the incessant rhythm of the world, will simply move on. They will fill their August schedules, dive into new distractions, endlessly scroll their screens to avoid the silence where the true lessons of July reside. They will wake up on the 1st of August hoping for a magical new beginning, without realizing they're entering a new territory, dragging the energetic corpse of the past month. Their alchemical vessel is not just full, it is under such great pressure that fine cracks begin to form in its structure, and through these fissures, the precious potion of wisdom, the elixir of power that was created at such great cost, begins to leak. The courage you accumulated by finally having that difficult conversation, the clarity that shone for an instant about your purpose, the dose of self-love you felt when setting a boundary All of this begins to dissipate, drop by drop, into the ether of unconsciousness. The person on this path wonders why they feel so depleted in the very first week of August, why the same patterns of frustration from July are already showing the first signs, why a feeling of heaviness and stagnation already contaminates the promise of a new time. The power is gone, with only the residue remaining. But there is a danger even more insidious than the loss. It is the contamination. When you enter a new cycle with the vessel of the previous cycle still open, the new and fresh energies of August do not find a clean and ready container. They are poured into a mixture that is already full, murky, and unconsecrated. And what happens when the new mixes with the unresolved old? The entire mixture becomes corrupted. The purity is lost. Think of it practically. A new opportunity for love that arises in August is received not with an open heart, but with the armor of July still on. Every word from the other is filtered through the wounds of distrust from the past month, and the connection dies before it is born. A chance for prosperity that demands boldness and faith is met with the vibration of fear and scarcity that marked a loss in July, and the opportunity veers away from you. The blank canvas of a new creative project in August does not inspire a flow of possibilities, but evokes the paralyzing echo of the self-criticism that screamed so loudly in July. The result is not progress, it is an energetic swamp where the future is perpetually sabotaged by the past. Now breathe and look at the second path. It is narrower, quieter. It does not demand more work, but more presence. It does not demand strength, but intention. It is the path of the alchemist. On this path, we understand that a true new beginning is not a gift of time. It is an achievement of consciousness. The alchemist is not someone who just experiences life. It is someone who metabolizes it. They take the lead of chaos, of pain, and of confusion, and consciously transform it into the gold of wisdom, of power, and of peace. They know that to fully receive the blessings of August, they must first honor, thank, and ceremonially seal the blessings of July. It is not about forgetting, but about integrating. It is not about erasing, but about consecrating in an inner sanctuary. The fundamental difference between these two paths, it is not luck, it is not destiny, it is a single, powerful choice, a decision that is available to you now, in this brief and sacred interval between the end and the beginning. The choice to honor what has passed so you can fully embrace what is to come. Will you drag a cracked vessel into the future, or will you pause to seal your potion, transforming it into an eternal source of power? We now arrive at the heart of our work together. We arrive at the sacred act. What follows is not an intellectual exercise, it is an act of practical magic, a surgery of the soul. I ask that, if possible, you find a space of silence in the next few minutes, a place where you can breathe and be present with your own energy without interruptions. This is your moment to take on the role of the alchemist of your own life. The ritual is composed of 3 fundamental steps: the decanting, the consecration, and the hermetic sealing. Let us walk through each of them together. Step 1, the decanting, separating the gold from the mud. In alchemy, to decant is the patient process of allowing the heavy sediments of a mixture to sink to the bottom, so that the clear, pure liquid can be seen and separated. Our first task is to do exactly that with the experiences of July. We need to separate the gold of wisdom from the mud of suffering. Take a sheet of paper and a pen. This physical act is important. It anchors the ethereal energy onto the material plane. Draw a vertical line down the middle of the page. At the top of the left column, write the mud. At the top of the right column, right? The gold. Now, in the mud column, I invite you to list everything that weighed on you during the month of July. Be honest, be specific. A painful argument, a financial disappointment, a crisis of self-confidence, the pain of a loss, the resentment over an injustice, the frustration with a project that didn't move forward. Do not judge, do not censor, do not try to minimize your pain. Just give a name to each shadow. Bear witness to its weight. This is the act of looking at the sediments at the bottom of your vessel. When you feel you have listed everything you needed to, take a deep breath. Now let's move to the right column, the gold column. For each item you listed in the mud column, you will now investigate, like a patient gold prospector, what gold that experience brought you. Be ruthless in your search for the hidden gift. If the mud was a painful argument, perhaps the gold was the strength I discovered by finally speaking my truth. If the mud was a crisis of self-confidence, perhaps the gold is the clarity on where I need to strengthen my self-love. If the mud was a disappointment, the gold might be the liberation from a false hope, which now gives me space for what is real. Do this for each item. This step is crucial. It does not deny the suffering. It contextualizes it. It shows us that the mud was not a mistake. It was the fertile soil from which the gold of our wisdom sprouted. Step 2. The consecration. Blessing the contents. If the first step was intellectual, this second step is purely vibrational. We move from analysis to acceptance. The goal here is to change the energetic frequency of your memories, transforming the poison of pain into the medicine of gratitude. With your list in hand, look again at the mud column. Look at each of those words that represent pain, weight, and challenge. Breathe deeply and allow yourself to feel the energy of that memory for an instant. But now, with the awareness of the gold it gave you. Now, for each item in the mud, you will perform a small act of consecration. You can do this out loud if your space allows, or in the silence of your heart. Look at the first item. Remember the corresponding gold you found, and then say, "For this experience, which brought me," mention the corresponding gold, "I bless you, I honor you, and now I release you." Feel the power in these words. I bless you, I honor you, I release you. Continue down the list, consecrating each painful experience. You are not saying the experience was good or fair. You are not forgiving the wrongdoing. You are doing something much more powerful. You are withdrawing your personal power from that memory of pain and anchoring it in the wisdom you have gained. Gratitude here is not about feeling happy for what happened. It is the alchemical act of recognizing that nothing was in vain. It is the radical acceptance that every ingredient, even the most bitter, was necessary to create the unique and powerful potion that exists today within you. This is the moment you cease to be a victim of your circumstances and become the master of your energy. Step 3, the hermetic sealing, the final act. The decanting is done. The consecration has been performed. Your inner potion is purified, potent, and ready. Now the final and definitive act, the sealing. This is the gesture that locks the power inside you and signals to the universe, unequivocally, that the cycle of July is complete, honored, and closed. I offer you 3 paths for this symbolic act. Choose the one that resonates most with your soul. The first is the ritual of fire. Take your paper, fold it, and with extreme care and in a safe place, burn it. As you watch the flames consume the paper, visualize all the residual energy of July. The pain, the confusion, the weight, being transformed into light and smoke, rising and dissolving into the ether. What remains is not the paper, but the gold, now permanently forged inside you. The second is the ritual of water. Take your paper to a place with running water, tear it into small pieces. As you release the pieces into the water, visualize all the energies being washed, purified, and carried away, following the flow of the river to the sea, the great neutralizer. The third is the ritual of earth. Fold your paper and bury it. It can be in a potted plant, in your garden, or in a place in nature. This act symbolizes that the lessons and challenges of July are not being destroyed, but transmuted into compost, into fertile nourishment for your future growth. After performing the physical act of your choice, find a comfortable position. Close your eyes. Place both hands over your heart, feeling the warmth and energy in your chest. Breathe deeply 3 times. And then, with the conviction of a master alchemist who has just completed their great work, say out loud or to yourself the words that seal your vessel forever. My vessel is sealed, my wisdom is consecrated, I am ready. Breathe deeply. Feel the stillness that now occupies the space where there was once noise. Feel the lightness in your shoulders where there was once weight. What you are feeling is not an emptiness. It is the serenity of alignment. It is the calm strength of a power that has been fully claimed and integrated. The potion of July, with all its intensity, was not discarded. It has been honored, consecrated, and is now safely stored in the sanctuary of your soul. It is no longer a burden you drag, but a foundation upon which you now stand, wiser, stronger, and more conscious than ever before. You are not just starting the month of August. You are entering it, whole, complete, with a clean, sealed alchemical vessel, ready to receive, without distortions or contaminations, all the new blessings, lessons, and opportunities that the next cycle has to offer you. You have done the work, you have honored the process, and the difference will be felt not just tomorrow, but in all the weeks to come. If this ritual has resonated with you, if you have felt the shift in your own energy, show your support and anchor this transformation. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to perform this closure, and leave your testimony in the comments with the phrase below, so that your community knows you are one of those who chose the path of the alchemist. July integrated. And don't forget to subscribe so we can continue to navigate these cosmic journeys together.